Okay, let's give this a shot. The date is March 1st, 2021, and here is the temperature for Crystal, Minnesota today. So like I've been saying, I wanted to change up these morning videos in March and do something a little bit different and something a little bit more structured. So every week I'm going to be breaking down part of the independent, low-budget filmmaking process that I've learned over the years, or just filmmaking in general, that I've learned over the years, and this week is all about pre-production. So let's just start right at the top with the idea. I often get asked where my ideas come from. A lot of people love to say, Josh, you're so creative. That's like a term that people always are using with me, is how I'm creative, or I have great creativity. I think the creativity is less actual creativity and more just random insanity. I take whatever crazy idea pops into my head and I become obsessed with the idea that I can make this thing that popped into my head. And so if I go, oh, I want a movie where Daniel turns me into a monster, I have to make a movie where Daniel turns me into a monster. When I set my mind that I wanted to go make a movie for $7,000 with Robert Rodriguez's reality crew following me around, I went all in on this concept, and I knew I couldn't complete it if I didn't go all in. So my ideas really spawn from just this drive to get the idea out of my brain. When I come up with a monster in a painting, it isn't that I'm sitting down and overthinking it. It's like I'm just getting it out. And I think a lot of people are afraid to be that vulnerable and put themselves out. I hopped on a podcast and talked to this dude, Timothy Troy, yesterday. The podcast is out now. Low Budget Rebels is the name of the podcast. Go listen. It was a great podcast with Timothy Troy, and I started the conversation asking about this, where ideas come from. And he mentioned that a lot of his scripts aren't stuff he wrote. He gets them from an actual writer. I think there's something to be said about that and the creativity that can flow through that shared experience of creating something together and figuring out how you're going to adapt these words into your vision. Maybe that's a place for you to start as a filmmaker or as an artist, branching off of something. A lot of times my ideas come from the fact that I have to get this thing out of my head, and maybe you have that same thing as well. But to me, the idea is something that sometimes we don't spend enough time with. I'll say this, with 1st of November, Daniel and I didn't spend a lot of time talking and thinking about it. We just started writing. Daniel said, hey, I have this idea for evil pumpkins on the 1st of November. What if pumpkins came to life if you didn't get rid of them quick enough? And we just jumped on it. We didn't think about it, we didn't complicate it, but we knew it was something we had to get out of our brains. We had to get it out of our system. And I love this little short. It's coming together great, but it's something that, we didn't pontificate for months about. We just started doing it, and we just began, and maybe that's where you need to be with your project. Overthinking can be a terrible thing, and it can be a wonderful thing. With Greywood's plot, we didn't overthink the first time we went into filming it, and we failed miserably at it. But what really happened was we were able to take that concept, ramble, and figure it out, and write a scene and send it, and write another scene and send it, and just adapt this thing into something we really, really, really cared about. Every project is going to be different. That's another thing that Timothy Troy and I talked about on this podcast, is that it's easy to babble and ramble about what works best or what the best way to start working on a project is, but the truth is you're going to work your own way. Getting stuck on the way that Spielberg does it, or the way that Save the Cat says you should do it, or any of the other myriad of ways you can get stuck, is something that can be a detriment to so many filmmakers and so many creatives in general, thinking even about painting. And as I started doing more painting, but then also reading up on the proper way to paint, the proper way to use your brush, the best kinds of brushes, the best kinds of canvases, all these other things, it ended up getting me stuck. Like, I ended up getting stuck painting for a while where I wasn't having fun doing it. It didn't feel natural. It wasn't my way of painting. Oh, that's a miserable way to feel and a miserable place to put yourself. I much prefer what comes natural, especially when it comes to art. you're gonna want to watch tutorials. You're gonna want to learn. You're watching this video right now because you're interested. However, your way and my way are going to be completely different, and where your ideas come from are completely different than the way or the place that my idea for In Shadows came from, or my idea for Greywood's plot came from, or where Josh Rauch's idea for Other Fish came from. When Josh came to me with this idea for Other Fish, he was like, my girlfriend had a dream about her mom swimming a channel and being eaten by a shark, and I had to save her with a dog. I don't know if actually the full idea was from this, or if we sort of like built the concept from the dream, but that came from a dream. It's one of my favorite animations I've ever made, and it came from a stupid dream. So digging into the things that inspire you, anything can inspire you, and anything can help you find your place as far as an idea goes, whether that's for a painting or a script or just a feature in general, or a short film or a song, or whatever the fuck kind of art you're making. Looking at your life and what is driving you each day, what makes you want to go make something, so crucial, so important. And I get lost in that sometimes. Keeping that idea so close to your heart and so close to you will help keep you going and keep you motivated. So pick an idea that means a lot. I get ideas all the time for things where I'm like, I can't make this. This idea needs to go away for a minute while I actually come up with an idea for something I can do. The Super 8 movie I'm working on, spoiler alert, I'm doing a Super 8 movie this year, is something that I've always wanted to do, but it's always felt out of reach. And this was the first year that it feels a little in reach and feels important enough that I need to do it this year. I can't not do it this year. I have to make this Super 8 movie. So I got the camera, I asked around, I found a couple rolls of film that someone had laying around, and I ordered some more film so that I can make this Super 8 movie. And thanks to my patrons, patreon.com/flushstudios, I've been able to afford buying film to make a Super 8 movie and let you all in on the adventure of me making a Super 8 movie this year. You can hear this and you can go, oh, that's awesome. I love the idea of doing a Super 8 movie. I've always wanted to do a Super 8 movie, but maybe you don't really want to. There's something else that's more important to you personally. Go do that. Go do that thing. Don't get lost in other people's ideas, because that's what happens to me all the time. I always get lost in other people's ideas. I watch a movie and I'm like, I want to do that. I just watched Batman v Superman and thought it was awesome, by the way. I think that movie just rips. It's so good. But as I was watching it, I was like, God, I'd love to make a $200 million movie. But that's not for me right now. That's not where I'm at. So if I get hung up on this concept, I will fall apart, because it's just not going to come to me today. It's just not where I'm at in life. But I am at a place where I have to make a Super 8 movie, and I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun watching me create it, and hopefully I'll be able to post some of that stuff on this YouTube as well. So anyway, long story. This worked. Hey, if you like this video, give it that thumbs. Give it the thumb. Hey. Ooh, I hate this part. You know what? Don't comment, don't like. I don't give a shit. I'm making these videos for me, but if you want to comment, make sure to comment with an actual suggestion for these videos. Let me know what you want me to talk about and what you want to see. Hey, if you don't like these videos, give it that thumbs down. That's what I say. Alright everyone, thanks for tuning in to my morning video. This has been the first of an entire series of March videos about the process that I've learned about filmmaking and what I feel is important for me to be self-reflective about publicly on YouTube. So I hope you enjoy these videos. If you do, great. Thanks, bye. Whee! Ow, that really hurt.